What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including breaking news that WWE has released another superstar, Rey wants to put his mask on the line, Shawn Michaels' questionable joke, Roman Reigns saved a superstar from getting fired, MJF offers to pay for a fan's wrestling school so he can cripple him, a new look for a fired WWE wrestler, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the breaking story that WWE has fired another superstar. Yep, the releases just keep on coming, and unfortunately, the newest victim is Curtis Axel. WWE just announced on Twitter that WWE has come to the terms on the release of Curtis Axel. We wish him all the best in his future endeavours. Now, it's unsure if Axel actually requested his release, as earlier this week we reported that WWE is granting requests at this point, but to be honest, they really haven't done much with the former Intercontinental Champion, and his pairing with Bo Dallas has been floundering over the last year. It's such a shame because it's another wrestler with bags and bags of talent. But where would you like Curtis to go? AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor? Let us know in the comments down below. We hope he finds work very soon. Next up, Rey wants to put his mask on the line. Now, many rumors at the time of WrestleMania 35 suggested we were going to get a hair versus mask match between Rey Mysterio and Andrade, however, that never happened. But when Rey spoke on the most recent edition of The Bump, if WWE asked him to, he would put his mask on the line in an instant. He mentioned, if the opportunity came about, I would jump in a heartbeat on putting his mask on the line again. I think that's what makes Lucha Libre exciting, and in this case, to bring Lucha Libre to the WWE and show the WWE Universe the excitement behind the mask versus hair match, or the mask versus title match. You know, you put your heart out there in those matches. I would actually love to jump in the ring one of these days before I retire and put my mask on the line against something that is well worth it. Now, we would definitely still love to see this gimmick match between Andrade and Rey, or even Angel Garza and Rey. They all have fantastic chemistry with each other, and with the added stipulation, the match would be a must-see. But if Rey ever put his mask on the line, it should be in his retirement match, and it should be on the grandest stage of them all. Not some shitty throwaway pay-per-view like Fastlane. Next up, Chris Jericho talks AEW returning to live shows. Speaking with Newsweek's Rocco Maranghelli, Le Champion discussed the importance of resuming live shows. I think everybody kinda wants to get back to work. Previously, the team had already filmed about 4 weeks worth of shows, but they were all waiting to see where this situation would take them. We're trying to start slowly and integrate back into life, and I think it's perfect. Obviously, we'll take precautions and all that sort of stuff, but it's time to get back on track, and I'm looking forward to it. As we pointed out, all it would take were one wrestler to become ill from the disease affecting the world, and it could conceivably shut down an entire promotion, or even the entire industry if there was enough public outcry. Just like the WWE, AEW is taking a chance running wrestling shows. Jericho also discussed how the business is negatively impacted by the lack of a live crowd. You know, this is wrestling, it's show business. It's not about wins or losses. It's about connecting with the audience and taking advantage of the opportunities that we get, which makes you leave an impression. The former AEW World Heavyweight Champion's remarks that it's not about wins or losses are interesting, given AEW making it a point to document its wrestlers' win-loss records. Could this be a sign that Jericho doesn't agree with this aspect or AEW, or was he merely stressing how important the audience is? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Next up, Roman Reigns saved a superstar from getting fired, but he told an interesting story on his podcast with Big E, Kofi Kingston and guest Tyler Breeze. As during the time Breeze and Xavier Woods were a tag team in FCW, Breeze was about to be cut from FCW, but at the last minute he was tagged with Roman Reigns and the two became champions. All of a sudden I see Breeze walking out here and I hear his music, and I'm like, wait, what? We're a tag team. And then I see him walking out with who? Roman Reigns. By the end of that match, there's a 1-2-3, and Breeze and Roman Reigns were the new tag team champions, while Breeze and I were a legitimate tag team. Now, it's uncertain whether Roman Reigns had any backstage pull around this time, as this was the developmental territory, but had he not tagged with Reigns, we may have never got Tyler Breeze in the WWE. Next up, a quick Raw preview. The 4th May edition of Raw is the go-home episode to WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and this is the Red Brand's last chance to hype the event. Perhaps that's why the WWE has already announced a few matches for the show. They include a last chance gauntlet match to determine the final Raw contestant in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The WWE hasn't named any contestants yet. The Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne with MVP in their corner will take on Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. The first 2 matches sound interesting, but it's puzzling why the WWE is hyping their tag match between Cedric Alexander and Ricochet against 2 relatively unknowns unless the WWE plans on pushing them. Next up, Shawn Michaels' questionable joke. The SmackDown's tribute to Triple H's 25 years in the WWE featured some surprise appearances, including one by Hunter's longtime friend Shawn Michaels. With the WWE still running empty arena shows and the world practicing social distancing, Mr. WrestleMania made a joke that some fans found offensive. WrestlingNews.co's Jake Jeremy noted that HBK would make a joke during the 25th anniversary segment with Triple H, asking him not to hug him because of social distancing and then keeping their space in the ring. Is it too soon? World's Strongest Man Mark Henry discussed the remark during Busted Open Radio, remarking, "Is it too soon? I know people are suffering financially. I know there's people that are emotionally distraught because they have lost people and they can't go and be there for them dying. It's a lot of stuff that's going on that's got people on edge, and that they're not ready to laugh at it yet. Do you think Michael should have exercised more caution, or are the fans who are upset being overly sensitive? Let us know in the comments down below." Next up, MJF offers to pay for fans' wrestling school so he can cripple them. AEW star Maxwell Jacob Friedman knows how to get under fans' skin, as seen by a recent tweet made to MJF and the Salt of the Earth's reply. A fan tweeted, "You're a little bitch and I'd happily learn wrestling right now just to F you up. I'm sorry that your upbringing made you the way you are, but I'll give you a reality check real quick, little guy. Same height, same age. I don't need training to drop you in your own trade." MJF replied, "I will literally pay for your wrestling training, pay for your gym membership, pay for your nutritionist, and I'll pay for your fight camp just to cripple you in front of your loved ones." As amusing as this exchange was, the fact that the fan only has 5 followers on Twitter strongly suggests it's another example of wrestlers using social media to get over. More power to MJF, who has quickly become one of the most entertaining heels in the industry. Next up, Mandy Rose talks Otis romance storyline. The storyline romance between Mandy Rose and Heavy Machinery's Otis has been one of the freshest angles in recent memory, with the WWE Universe genuinely invested themselves in the unlikely love match. As we've discussed in another news video, Mandy Rose and Otis have been friends since NXT, which makes this story easy to pull off. Speaking with Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso, Rose talked about how she pitched the idea to Mr. McMahon. "It's hard to get in Vince's office, but I finally got in and I pitched this story. He loved it. He had some ideas, and then Sonia and I had a lot of say in the creative, which was really cool. We were able to write a lot of it. We all worked together, and that's one of the reasons it's worked so well. Everyone's been really passionate about it." Rose discussed the only drawback of the storyline's payoff at WrestleMania 36, when she and Otis had their big romantic moment, saying, "That was such a big moment for us. We would have loved to hear the crowd erupt, so that's just more reason to have an even bigger moment next year." Rose seems to feel the storyline has enough legs to carry on for at least another year, but what do you guys think? Next up, which wrestler impressed Cody Rhodes as a kid? Cody Rhodes grew up watching his famous father Dusty wrestle some of the biggest names in professional wrestling, so one might wonder who impressed Cody Rhodes growing up. The American Nightmare recently spoke on the Dan Le Batard show and discussed who he was in awe of as a youngster. "I think I was always in awe of Ric Flair. My dad did not smarten me up for the business as a youth. He did not tell me the secrets of the industry. He let me figure it out on my own. I assumed Rick was the guy who broke my dad's arm in the parking lot. Whenever I'd see him, he was always dressed immaculately with the hair, the women, and usually big gold. I was intimidated by him because he was my dad's mortal enemy, but I secretly thought there was a piece of that I wanted to be like that. He exuded success." Cody is yet another wrestling kid whose parent didn't smarten them up to the business, just another example of how strongly kayfabe was protected. And finally, a new look for a fired WWE superstar. And last but not least, is Zack Ryder going to sport a new look when he returns to the squared circle? The former Zack Ryder posted a picture on Twitter of an electric razor with hair on the floor, suggesting he's undergoing a makeover. and we'll have to wait and see if this is real or a swerve. His past use of social media, particularly his YouTube series Z True Long Island Story, showcased his skills at self-promotion. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.